All right, I think it's going. All righty, everybody, welcome to Talking Real Estate here at Champions Real Estate Team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Weiner II, team leader at Champions Real Estate Team. Joining me today, as typically as always, unless he's out closing a loan, is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. He's also the financing instructor at Results Coaching School of Real Estate, so he knows just about his ins and the outs of everything in the financial world with regards to mortgages and then some. So he's a great asset to have to bounce, questions off of or ideas and stuff. So anyways, we'll jump right into it. Getting into the market, kind of same song and dance where we're at, low inventory, buyers, there's multiple offers on homes still. Show our numbers that we have. So we have 391 new listings that went active this last week, 416 contracts and 411 homes sold. So last week we had just over 500 new listings, which I think was a high for a while there. But as we see the, one in, one out, I've said that before, as houses are coming on the market, they're going off just as quick, and some of them aren't even making it to the market in that regard. So, I mean, with companies that have broker exclusives, they can market it within their brokerage. At Berkshire Hathaway, having the largest market share is a huge advantage to our buyers and our sellers, because we can open it up to the pool of buyers and find you a home and kind of play matchmaker. And you may still be competing with multiple offers, but you're not maybe going to get 33 different offers. And as a seller, you can maximize that net profit to you in that regard. So, but jump right into another little chart that we go over each week. 30,000 view here looking at it. So in the Douglas Sarpy County and the entire Omaha MLS and Lincoln MLS, we have 1,242 active listings on the market. I took out the no-show listings, which basically are on the MLS, but we can't take a look at them. They're getting them ready. Might be doing some painting or stuff, but they still want to have it on the MLS so that it's out there for agents to see and kind of keep an eye on. So Douglas Sarpy County homes, kind of the Omaha metro area, we're about 632 listings. Existing homes, about just under 400. So that's all price point, folks. I mean, that's one of those things that we look at, that there's not a lot of homes on the market. And we've been hovering right around that 1,200 ballpark probably for the last 3 months. So like I said, we're getting, anywhere from 400 to 500 new listings each week. But as you see, we had, 416 new contracts written or homes that went pending. So basically they come on, they go off real quick in that regard. So new construction's in about 250. I know last week we touched on a lot about new construction, lumber cost, at about $1,700 a board foot or whatever. I think the measurement or the quantity that they sell them at. 6 months ago, a year ago, is about $300 to $400, and it's jumped up so much. Builders right now are kind of trying to navigate those waters where the lumber suppliers are going back on their contracted price that they had, because the mills are going back on their contract. So, and in turn, that inevitably comes down to the home buyer that they're buying the house, that, the builder's not going to eat that cost. And it's, it's going to go back on, say, hey, your house is going to be now $30,000 more. What would you like to do? Do you want to cancel the contract, get your deposit back, or do you want to move forward with the purchase or the new construction of your home? Because if you're going to wait and think they're going to go down, I hate to break it to you, but all indicators are saying that those prices are not coming down. They're actually going to be going up. So as always, even when I got in the business in 2008, the cheapest time to buy new construction was yesterday. So that's in anything as it goes through, because those prices are inevitably always going up. Materials, labor, all the things that go into that account. So average sold price up about 275. I think month to month from May to 2020 to May of last year, it was up 16%. But this is on the April, so a bigger swatch of the market in that aspect of it. So looking at those, I'll show you one more thing as far as our trend graphics report here goes for. So where's that here? So looking at the April numbers that come out, those come out the 10th of every month. So this middle number graph here, the spreadsheet form. So we had 2,080 pending listings in April, and that was up 16% from the previous year. So, and we're down yet 52% in our active listings. So you're kind of like, well, how can houses we have more contracts written than we do actually homes on the market. Well, like I said, some of those homes are not reaching the market. 16% of them, if you look at that number, aren't reaching the market. They're basically being, agents that know houses that are coming on the market. Sellers want to, accept that contract because then maybe that gives them time to go find another home rather than accepting a contract out there and not necessarily being able, when you're on a time crunch to find a home. So there's many different reasons why they don't come on the market. But, if you have any questions, give us a holler. Happy to go over that, get a game plan and coach you through that process. So just kind of want to show those numbers there. Today's stats basically from, May 1st to May 11th, this year to last year, we're down 18%. That was similar to what we had in April, and inevitably, the numbers catch up by the end of the month. We're coming into Memorial Weekend. Summer's starting, so you're going to get a lot more homes on the market, but then you're also going to have buyers that want to get into a home before school starts, in August, so now they're trying to line up those homes and then maybe take, vacations in the summer. So, but so that's kind of what we're seeing in the marketplace. Once again, multiple offers, seeing a lot of the contracts I've written in this last week, the ones we have missed out on, those buyers are paying the appraisal gap, and they're paying sellers closing costs. There's a lot of different things that are going on, and to navigate those waters and to set yourself apart, that's what we're here to coach you and train you and get you educated on what's going on in the marketplace through that process. So I guess we'll jump in and touch on what's going on in the mortgage industry here with Russ. You're muted, Russ, so just make sure you take yourself off mute. But yeah, so
hey, Mark.
Yeah.
We're watching some interesting things happen. We've talked in previous weeks that we anticipated we would start to see inflation hitting sometime in the month of May, and lo and behold, this morning's consumer price index number did show inflation. And so what that means to you, if you're looking at financing the purchase of a home right now, is you can expect some higher rates here for a while. We don't know how long this will continue because, of course, the COVID pandemic really put a damper on the economy last March, April, and May. And those are being reflected in today's numbers. So we don't know how long these interest rates will remain elevated. Maybe they will continue to elevate. It depends on how the economy turns along. But to your point, Mark, this is still a fantastic time to buy a home, but you have to have a plan. And that plan is going to require that you have everybody on your team, the realtor, financial people, everybody working together if you want to win bids. As we've talked about in previous weeks, Mark, we know that we have roughly 10 buyers nationwide for every home that's listed for sale. We're at very low inventory levels now. So just throwing an offer against the wall and hoping it might stick and they might accept it is kind of equivalent to finding a unicorn in a forest. Yeah. They can be found, but you need to have the wizard take you to them. And so that's why you need to work with a team like Mark's Champions Real Estate team. We do anticipate that when the report comes out tomorrow morning from Freddie Mac, showing what average rates have been over the last week, that it probably won't show yet that inflation has hit. And keep in mind, the rates that come out every Thursday are an average over the last week. And given that those inflation numbers just hit this morning, the fact that we're seeing bond prices fall off this afternoon, pushing interest rates higher, won't be reflected probably until next week's report. So it's still a great time to buy a home. It's a little bit like the movie Finding Nemo. You got to get into that East Australian current and be a player in the market. Valuations are going to continue to rise, in my opinion, Mark. To your point, the pandemic, a lot of folks stayed home, and the percentage of folks that own homes that did renovations on their property are a contributing factor to why lumber prices are up. We also have some supply chain issues that we've talked about in previous weeks. So supplies are going to remain elevated price-wise for a long period of time. We've also talked, Mark, and I don't mean to keep yapping here, but we've also talked that the median first-time home buyer is age 33, which means born in 1988. But yet if we take a look at the number of births in 89, 1990, 91, each year after 1988, there were more people born than there were in 1988, which means we have a tremendous housing need, meaning if you aren't looking to buy a home as your primary residence, it sure makes sense maybe to own one because rental prices are going to be continuing to climb or expected to continue to climb. In fact, numbers just came out yesterday. Nationwide rent increases are up 2%. This is a great time to buy a home, folks. You need to reach out to Mark and his team.
Yeah. And I know you touched on I saw we had our Berkshire sales meeting yesterday, and they were talking about the numbers as far as lumber goes. I thought it was an interesting stat that basically in 2020, for the same priced house, I think it was like a 2,000 square foot house roughly, you could have built 10 homes last year for what you can build 2.34 or something like that homes in 2021. So that's as far as the lumber. So to put a perspective of what's going on, I'll have to find that graph. I saw a diagram of it, and maybe I'll share it. And then I know you said, what's that?
The National Association of Home Builders came out with a report earlier this week that the price of lumber is driving up the price of every new single-family home by just under $36,000.
Yeah.
And given that multifamily new constructions, they have to have lumber in them as well. That's driving up the average rent price on new construction rental units, multi-unit rental properties, by $120 a month. That number is going to continue to rise. Even lumber futures out as far as November are still well over $1,000, and there's no end in sight. We're going to see valuations continue to climb.
Yeah, and I mean, you just take a drive around, Douglas, Sarpy County. There's tons of, apartments being built. Because that like you said, that housing need with those birth years and that median, home buyer price point, the age of people starting to buy homes, they need a place to stay. You got to get out of mom and dad's basement. The joke was a lot of the millennials came back home and didn't want to jump into something too early and save some money, and which is great. I did that. I mean, I stayed with my parents, and I ended up building a Hearthstone home and got my feet wet, but that's what they're doing now. And there's just no place to go to buy those homes. And if they want to get out of mom and dad's basement, or whatever it is, move in with some friends, or, there's tons of those apartments going out. And like you said, that lumber, going up, in that side of it. So, but yeah, that's, as we look, now is a great time to buy a house. They're not getting any cheaper. Ultimately I don't have a crystal ball as a real estate agent, but like you said, all indicators are showing that, it's going to keep rising unless there's some global event that we can't control. And year over year, on the 30-year average, I think it was, 3 to 4%, appreciation, which is still good. Obviously you have your peaks and valleys. I mean, when I got my real estate license in 2008, we had 6,000 homes on the market. We have 1,200 now, so it's, I've kind of gone through one little cycle in my real estate career in the 13 years, but.
Mark, and you make a great point there. There are some naysayers out there with housing saying that, are we headed to another 2008? I don't believe we are, for the point that you just mentioned. Back in 2008, we had an inventory surplus. We have an inventory shortage now, with demand being extremely high. That is not a formula for a crashing housing market. Affordability, even though it's getting tougher for some folks, affordability is still good, especially in the eastern Nebraska market. We got a ways to go, guys. Buy a house now. This is still a great time to buy. Stay the course, even if it's tough. Stay the course, put a plan together.
Yep. Awesome. Well, yeah, so if you need to check out any houses, jump on our championsrealestateteam.com. Here, I'll kind of give you a little screenshot of it. So championsrealestateteam.com, you can set up a search. Basically, you'll register. That basically information comes to just our team. We don't sell your information. We're not going to hound you and call you 30 times a day until you tell us no. We just want to be a resource for you to get that right information, the accurate information. With this low inventory, Zillow's model is basically to sell leads to real estate agents, not find you the proper houses that you want to find. So they may put homes out there that may not be on the market just so agents can call you and try to get you into to sell you a different house. The Champions Real Estate Team website, basically, we don't do that. They're the 1,200 homes that are on the market, or the 1,200 homes that are on our website, and it's updated pretty accurately. Through that. So you can do a home valuation, see where your equity is. We have our home buyer and seller guides here. And then we have our market insider reports that you can click on this and set up a specialized search for if you own your own home right now, and basically get a stock ticker of what's going on in your marketplace of the homes that are sold, down the street and stuff like this. So there's a great little one, South 52nd Street, 180. That's a nice little house there for 180, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Yeah. So if you want to check that one out, give me a holler. Happy to show you. It will probably go quick. I'm just telling you that. So, but as always, we have our Facebook page here, so you can get that up-to-date information. Yeah. So as always, we appreciate you jumping in. So if you're listening to us live, thank you. If you're listening to us a little bit later, comment on it, give us a holler. My phone number's down there, 672-7670. And I know Russ said that he does those mortgage videos updates. So if you want to get on that mailing list from Russ, Russ at WilliamsMortgageLLC.com, shoot him a message, say, hey, just send me that update. And that way you're knowledgeable on what's going on. If you're thinking about buying a house now or then, or even refinancing, he can help you out with any of those things. So I know I get that email, watch it, stay up to date. That's our, I enjoy knowing what's going on, and having someone that's in tune with, have their finger on the pulse. So
information is power.
Yeah. Right. So Russ, appreciate you jumping on again, and we'll see everybody next week. Enjoy the weekend and take care.